Good afternoon, Pastor Jason here, and today I want to talk to you about how to be a young leader. Got a few minutes here, and first off, I want to read 1 Timothy 4:12. We all know it, but this is what it says. It says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, and the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity." Being young has its perks, and often young men and women have this attitude that they are invincible. I know I had it when I was that young, right? Always taking risks, living adventurous lives, and as we get older, we realize how delicate life actually is, right? And sometimes we have a tendency to look down on the irresponsibility of those young men and women. And Paul tells Timothy to not let this happen, as if he has control over how other people will think of him or view him. I think we all know we really can't control how others view us, but we can help them make better judgments by paying attention to what Paul has to say and how he lays it out for Timothy. First, he tells Timothy to not allow to not allow anyone to think less of him because he's young. And when someone thinks less of another person, what are some of the reasons why? Maybe they're lazy or irresponsible. I know from talking to a lot of older generation that they always bring up the work ethic of the next generation, always pointing out how good this new generation has it, and how they used to walk to school uphill both ways, in 8 foot of snow in September. And they also point out, how much screen time, these young people are using, and how they should be outside or doing something constructive. As someone who wants to be a young leader in your youth group or at your church, you should listen to the older generation. Not as complaints, though, but as an opportunity to show them that you deserve a seat at the table as a leader. Next, Paul tells Timothy to be an example in what you say, in the way you live, your love and your faith and your purity. This is a lot for a young person to take on, but it's doable. You just need to take the time to learn. James, the brother of Jesus, tells us to be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to become angry. Um, that's funny when he says that, because it kind of makes me think of my teenager. He's not very quick to listen, but he's very quick to talk, and he's very quick to get angry when anybody tells him anything. It kind of goes back to that young person thinking that they know everything. Um, and as a young leader, this is the most important thing that you can learn, is to be quiet. And it's not a disrespectful thing. It really isn't. Even as a pastor in my 40s, I have trouble with this. So I know young people, will also struggle with this too. When Jesus was only 12, we see how he spoke in such a way that the elders were amazed. Jesus had to learn these things. That's what the Bible said. Jesus, just like us, he had to take the time, and he had to be intentional. You have to be intentional with what you're doing, how you're going to lead. If that's in the youth group, what are your intentions? What is the purpose of you wanting to be a leader? Hopefully, your purpose is to point others to Jesus and his kingdom, by leading them in the ways of love and faith, and to be pure in heart. I think we see young people nowadays really struggle with love and with faith and with purity. There are so many things, on these screens, that are so accessible, and it steals the purity away from these young people. It steals their faith, and it steals the way that they should live. I know this was pretty quick, but I think this is a great start, not only for young leaders, but for everyone who wants to be a leader. So thanks for hanging out with me today. This is Pastor Jason. Have a good one.